Hey you guys, it is your girl Talk That Talk Mia, and I am back for a continuation of this love story. Okay, so in the last video I told y'all about where I got accepted into the nursing program for the second time, and I actually passed I got accepted into that program for the second time, and needless to say, y'all, I excelled through that program with, flying colors. The class that I failed at one school, in my chaos and, my shortcomings, I passed that class with an A at the school that I was, accepted into the second time. So that's what I felt like God's will was for me, in which He gave me the desires of my heart. I told y'all that I wanted to live on campus and be peaceful, and that's what I did. Like, He gave me all of that, y'all. But y'all know it's a but. A but is gonna always come, okay? So I didn't realize that He was drawing me, the first time. So of course I get into this program, and I think that I'm going to be fulfilled when, truth be told, I actually wasn't, because it was Him that I was still missing. But being that I was blinded by the fact that it was Him that I was missing, what do I do in turns? I go and, be after guys, okay? So not like I was after multiple guys. I got rid of that boyfriend that had cheated and got children on me and, all of that, and got with somebody else. Okay, so that was one thing about me, never giving myself time and space to get over one person after going to the next, and actually seeing what was my problem. So just stick a pin right there too, okay? Because we're going to revisit that very thing about me, not knowing how to actually sit with myself. So here we are. I am dating someone younger than me, and in dating him, I didn't know that we really bonded through trauma. Like that's all that happened. We had a trauma bond, and I couldn't see it then because, I just need this void to be filled. Like, I just want to feel loved, not knowing that God was literally trying to take me down the path that He wanted me to go down. And who's to say that, I didn't go down this path so I can be, the person that I am today. But hey, let's just finish the story. I get with this guy and I date him for 5 years, okay? So after me, getting ready to, first of all, going through nursing school. I got hit with so many opportunities to let him go, just being done with him. It was at one point he sent me a picture of what appeared to be a demon, a devil, having sex with a woman, and I looked at it like, what is this? And I remember posting it on social media, y'all. And I posted it on social media, and some girls commented, and they was like, I asked a question like, if someone sent y'all this, what would y'all do? And I remember one of them said, run, and run fast. Y'all, little old me, I'm asking for advice, and or what would you do? And I didn't follow it, and then I'm like, oh my God, run. Like, no, I like him. What I'm running for? Like, I felt like I wanted to start over, like I'm gonna start this thing over. We young, we gonna grow old together, I'm gonna accept whatever is with whatever on however. So get through that, and I felt like he was my best friend. Like, we were really vibing like that. But the the deceitfulness and the manipulation, I would see it and my spirit wouldn't be right. Wouldn't, it just wouldn't sit right with me. Let me just say that. The actions would not sit right with my spirit, but because I wanted that feeling that he was giving me, I was okay with it. So it had gotten to the point where he was asking, we're having sex, we're here, we were using protection, and then we went to the point of not using protection, and it was like, okay, now why aren't you pregnant yet? And I'm like, I don't know. But in my mind and my heart, I'm like, because I have been praying to God, asking him to please not to give me a baby by someone who is not my husband. So here we go. And I just started, I was getting tired of that question being asked. So I started taking vitamins, prepping my body. Like, okay. And my prayers started changing. Like, Lord, just go ahead and give me this baby. So, he could be quiet. Basically, give me this baby so he can shut his mouth. Maybe we'll be happily ever after. We'll have our family and we're going to be good. All right. So fast forward, get to the point of having, letting them, I really conceived, okay? Like in the point in time of trying not to, it ended up happening. So here I am, like, Lord, now, I'm already disgusted with how a baby would grow on the inside of me, how, with the feeling, the kicks, everything. Like, I don't know how to take this, and like, you're really taking me too fast here. So now I have no other choice but to, be a grown woman. Like, I felt like in my mind, I was so youthful. Like, I still was like very youthful, and I just didn't feel like I was ready to be a mom. But here I am, like, oh my God, pregnant, and seeing it here 3 months later. I found out I was pregnant at 3 months. And so, going through that, then he gets to the point of, I had to say this, like, get to the point of, what you gonna do about it? Like, what you gonna do about it? You went from why you not pregnant to what you gonna do about it? Like, that sent me, through the roof too, because it's like, oh, now you want me to, get rid of the seed that's been planted inside of me. Like, no, like, this is my body. I'm not doing anything of that nature. So get with it or get lost. Then the apologies came, and it was just a roller coaster ride, y'all. A roller coaster ride. Okay. And even in that, one thing my dad said to me when he found out that I was pregnant, he told me, he said, I just want you to know one thing. A baby does not keep a man. And 2, just because you have a baby by him doesn't mean that you have to stay with him. Okay. So, that was in my mind. I'm just thinking like, oh, okay, then, fast forward the time, we ended up getting engaged. All right. My dad came back. He cried to me that time. And he told me that, hey, that's not the one. And I'm like, now you have been absent out of my entire life, and the relationship that we do have, it's not that. So you're going to tell me that this is not the one? How dare you tell me that? So, I asked my dad, I said, why? Why isn't he the one? He says, because when I see him, I see me. And I was looking, and I'm like, huh? Like, okay, so I didn't think of it anything, I didn't think on it tough, because I'm trying to defend him. Like, no, he is not that, not really knowing what that is. My mind was just like, oh, he's not gonna cheat anymore. He done with all of this and done with all of that. And you will see. Basically, I was on defense mode, honey. Like, you will see. Okay. Well, fast forward. One day I said, when you think of your dad, like, what do you see? And and what do you think? Like, what do you see and what do you think? Who do you see, basically? I say, when I see my dad, I see a charming, excuse my language, like, I'm not going to say, I'm going to say concubine, a whore. You know, that's who I see when I see my dad. He's a charming player, okay? So that made me think. So I'm like, okay. Then I started watching my guys, actions and everything. And I was like, you know what? You do remind me of my daddy. Like, you remind me of my daddy for real, for real, for real, for real. And it just started to, like, disgust me. Like, everything was spilling out, y'all. But needless to say, I had the baby, but this is where the lesson came in at. And that lesson was to not have a baby on the outside of marriage. On the outside, do not have a baby out of wedlock. And, like, church teaches us, don't have sex before marriage. Okay? But they never really tell us why we should not have sex before marriage. Y'all, first and foremost, from my experience, oh my God. Okay. I'm so sorry, y'all. But from my experience, I've learned that sex opens up a window of emotion. Like, it's so many emotions. Like, you're opening your portal up to everything that is attached to another being, because us as, like, we are sacred beings. And not to say that men aren't sacred beings, but you have to know, like, that you're releasing your DNA, you're releasing everything that's on the inside of you. And as for women, we are opening up our womb, our opening to our soul for God knows what. Okay? So it wasn't the fact that he was like my daddy that made me, not want him. It was the unequally yokedness. Like, we were not on the same level. I wanted God ultimately. God know I wanted him. He knew I wanted him. But I didn't know any better. I didn't know I was about to get married, y'all, and didn't even know the reason behind marriage. Okay? Why and how would you tell someone yes when you don't even know why you're saying yes? Like, do you all know that the covenant that we're taking is very serious, and we're just here to show, a representation of Jesus Christ that we believe in? We are to be his bride before we're anyone else's bride. He's to be our bridegroom. And the marriage here on earth is just a representation that we have said yes to him. And how was I going to be able to do that? I wasn't going to church. I wasn't listening to YouTube, to no one else in the church at all. But I'm going to tell y'all how God is so faithful. He's so faithful to perform, because he can come in many ways. And I'm going to always tell y'all that, whether it's through song, through television, or through whatever. But in this particular time, he came through Michael Todd, the pastor that I was watching on YouTube. And this particular sermon series was relationship goals. And I ran across relationship goals in 2018. Okay. And I literally took the time out to watch every single video. And every time I would watch it, y'all, it would like just pull and tug on my heart and make me feel like, oh, I need to do this for God. Like, oh, I'm doing this all wrong. Like, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it God's way. I want it to be accepted and pleasing in His eyesight. So I just knew, like, in my heart, like, that was not it. Y'all, I kept going. And every time I would say I was, just like trying to put one foot in front of the other one, God would do things to like slow me down. I got sick, hospitalized for 9 days, y'all. 9 days. And it was around Christmas time. And on the 9th day, I woke up that morning, declaring that, like, I want to live for God. Like, I asked God, Tasha Cobb's song, Fill Me Up, was in my soul. I just kept singing that song, like, Lord, fill me up. I want to run over. Like, come on, like, just do it. Whatever you're doing, just do it. And while I was there too, He sent a message to my aunt to tell me that I couldn't love my son nor my son's dad more than I loved God Himself. So that was the beginning of something. So I'm just like, okay, like I want to know who you are, God. Like, literally, I want to know who you are. And whatever you say do, I'm going to do. And what about, letting your family go? Leaving your son's dad. What about that? I was like, y'all, it was hard to do because I always felt in my soul, my spirit, that I did not want my child to grow up the way that I've grown up in this life. And that was in a single parent household. Like, it was just, like, that's ghetto. Like, no. But when we do things out of order, there are consequences that comes behind them. Okay? The consequence that I had in having a child out of wedlock, which reverts back to why we shouldn't have sex before marriage. Okay? Y'all, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And some may think that it's, an excuse. But what happens when you get into something and the person wants to be there with their child and for their child just the way that you want to be there with their child and for their child. But y'all can't see eye to eye. Y'all are not good for each other or any of that. Like, what happens then? A child get stuck in the middle, and the brokenness that you try to prevent probably ends up happening anyway, because it's either you're going to be there with your mama or you're going to be there with your dad. Well, in my case, when I decided to leave, it went like, oh, please just go get on your feet and, come back and get the baby or whatever. Cool. That's what I'm going to do. But what happens when you go back for the child? You go back for the child and it's like, no, you're not getting him. He can't live where you're living. You live with your mom. He needs his own room. I don't trust people with my child. And in my mind, in my heart, it's like, I don't trust people with my child either. I barely trust the people that he's around. But in all of my strength and all of my knowing, the Lord was giving me that obedience was better than sacrifice. And I could have drugged my child along, the gift that God gave me. I could have drugged him into my healing mess. Or I could have let him stay where he was being spoiled and everything was a yes, and choose not to give the motherly discipline to him. I fought so many angry days, so many bitter days, so many nights filled with torment, so many restless nights, so many whys. Like, why couldn't I just see everything for what it really was and just not brought a baby into this world? Or why could I just have been a person that was free of all trauma? Why did I have to be this person? But then as God was revealing to me, I saw, why not me? Literally, why not me? Why not, be the person who have been rejected, only to find out that rejection is for your protection? Why not be that person of strength? Jesus was a person of strength. He was rejected. He didn't worry about the naysayers. He didn't do any of those things. He was just an upright man walking this earth. Okay? So, why does that exclude me from going through anything in this life? So after leaving and, trying to get over that fact of my child was going to be a child who had to live in a home with his single mom and his single dad. Not saying that we're not going to ever get married, not to each other, but to our people. But why? But once I got my mind off of that, I started to see that God was trying to show me all of the brokenness that was on the inside of me. And it started at that very moment where I was by myself for the first time. Y'all know I just told y'all, I never gave myself a break. I've always been from one relationship to the next relationship, y'all. But this particular time, 3 years ago, he sent me on a nursing assignment to Virginia. And I got to be alone. Alone on so many acres of land, living in a modern day barn. That was so it was luxury. But it was so dope. But I was there alone. And I was actually able to sit with myself. And I started holding myself accountable. Accepting accountability for every single thing that I have gone through. Everything that a person has done to me to make me feel a certain way. Everything. But, y'all, little did I know, it was about to be the beginning of a hardened heart. A hardened heart to go through everything that I have gone through, the fire, in these next 3 years, y'all. Literally, he hardened my heart to go through the fire. Oh my God. Y'all. I can't even, because it's so heavy, y'all. It's so heavy. It's so heavy. It's so heavy. It's so heavy. But we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna be on track. And y'all are gonna see what walking through the fire is really like, to be purged, cleansed, and purified. To have that genuine love, to know exactly what love is, y'all. Everything that I was seeking and chasing after, it wasn't love. I was trying to feel something. Emotions, voids, desires that didn't really, align with God's desires for me. And in terms that left me bleeding. Left me bleeding. So just stay tuned. We will continue this. And I'm going to let you guys know today that obedience is better than sacrifice. Okay? Whenever God is telling you to do something, whenever you're feeling that feeling, we oftentimes call that our intuition. We call it, that good feeling. But it rings in our ears, and it's that still small voice when you're in that quiet place. Listen to it. Listen to him, because it's God. The Holy Spirit is trying to connect with you. Okay? We don't have to go through the loops, the ties, and the emotions for everything that we put ourselves through. We don't have to do that. We just do it because we want to do that. We want to be satisfied. But I'm here to tell you to stop your cycling right now. 10 times out of 10, it's the enemy. And I want you to analyze everything and see what seems like a repeated cycle to you, because the enemy comes the same way every single time. There's nothing new about him. He's a familiar spirit. Okay? He comes with the same tactics, and he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Destroy everything, not just your property, not just, you as a person, but the things that's on the inside of you. He wants your spirit. He wants your identity. Okay? He wants your character. He wants you to self-sabotage. Don't. Filled with nothing but destruction. Identify your weaknesses. Identify what is not like God in your life. And you will only learn by reading the Word of God if you want to see what's not right in your life. Do that. And watch him work. Watch him work. But like I said, y'all, obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Until next time.